is our predictions. It's time to put our money where our mouth is. Week 1, we got to predict all the games within the division. So let's start in the 1 p.m. window with those Pittsburgh Steelers we talked about at the top of the show, taking on the New York Jets at MetLife. I'm going to start with you here, Sam. It's Aaron Rodgers' first game as a Steeler, Justin Fields' first game as a New York Jet. Who wins this AFC matchup?
This game is going to be closer than a lot of people think. I know Mark said they're going to score a lot of points, and that may be the case. It'll be a fun one if they do, but I don't know. This Aaron Rodgers is going to be the guy I'm looking at. This will be a good game for him. Let's see what he can do. I looked at the stats, and it looks like, well, even though I was so anti-Russell Wilson last year, Aaron Rodgers didn't do as much through the air than Russell Wilson. I think Aaron Rodgers was 6.7 yards per play, and Russell Wilson was 7.6, somewhere around there. So about the same, and Steelers' offense is more predicated on running the football than anything else. I don't know. It just seems as though this is going to be a tight game. I will give it to the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. I'll give it a 21-13 score for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still trust that defense and knows them is anti that defense. They're very highly paid, but not much production. But I'm not going against Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt front. It's going to be very dangerous. I don't trust Justin Fields either as a passer. He's going to get some running lanes going in that offense, especially with Breece Hall back there, but not enough to stop the Pittsburgh Steelers to start 1-0.
Sam's got the Steelers taking the W in week 1. Zay, I know you'd hate to see it, but do you think we'll see it? Who's your winner between the Jets and the Steelers?
I want to be petty so bad. I want to be petty so bad. So do you want me to be realistic or do you want me to be petty?
Mark, I want you to be you.
Wait, can you put the screen on real quick?
Give it
Mark,
to him.
Mark, what do you want?
It doesn't matter what you want. The Jets are taking it, baby. Get the hell in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that for that?
Wow,
Yeah,
Mark
right.
wasn't
All that for
impressed.
that?
Know your role and shut your mouth, all right?
All right, then. Okay, mate. Win the division.
What's that score looking like, Zay?
20 years.
Man, you know what? Justin Fields going to come up in there. He going to cause a little ruckus. He going to rush for about like 70 yards. He going to have 2 rushing touchdowns, none through the air. He going to have 2 on the ground. No, you know how he get down. I think one thing that we aren't really talking about is the Breece Hall thing here. Like, if I'm Breece Hall, I'm pissed off. So I'm coming out here and I'm running with a vengeance. So hopefully Justin Fields and them boys can lean on the run game a little bit to open it up, because some of the highlights that we've seen from this preseason or in this training camp, it didn't look too good. Missing wide open passes to Garrett Wilson and stuff, but he's got some weapons to make this thing happen, and I'm going to continue to play my role that the Steelers they're a season away from being a Cleveland Brown. So I'm going to go... Let's go 21-20 in a heartbreak at the field goal.
21-20.
And it's going to be at Chris Boswell's foot, wide left.
Ooh, I love the specifics here.
Yeah, misses, mate. Best kick in the league.
You better not for that multi, Mark, with that 7.5 points we got riding on Boswell. It could come down to that kick. Zay has him missing. Seems like Zay has the Justin Fields Comeback Player of the Year bid starting off here in week 1, getting the W.
That's going to Nick Chubb. Get your best in. That's going to Nick Chubb.
All right. I'm interested to watch him, by the way, this week, right? Joe Mixon out, so we'll see what we got with Nick Chubb, if he can get the tread back on the tires. Zim, speaking of tread on the tires, Aaron Rodgers trying to find his at the late stages of his career. This could be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers take the field in a week 1 matchup. Is he going to get the W over the Jets, or is his former team going to spoil the week 1 showdown at MetLife?
This is a very, very tough matchup. I will say that I think the Steelers are sleeping on the Jets defense. I think that they have the components to make this an ugly game. They have good cornerback play. Their front is just as good as one of the best defensive fronts in football. I just don't think what the Steelers normally want to do, I don't think that they're going to be able to do it unless it's checking it down and attacking the linebackers. Like, I just can't see him pushing the ball down the field, like, for some reason. And if they tried it, I just think it will go bad for him. And he can't run. So this game, I think, is going to be really close. I'm a lot like Zay. I think Zay said 21-20. I'm at 19-17. I'm going to go Steelers. I hate to go Steelers, but I'm going to go Steelers. I think this game is a lot closer than what they want it to be. And I think that those points probably even come late.
Seems like everyone thinks this is going to be close. Is this more of a credit to maybe the Jets being a little something this year, or is this maybe more of a discredit to the Steelers? Or maybe neither. It's just kind of one of those defensive type games. That kind of how you guys are seeing it?
Yeah, I mean, if you look, I just don't see where the Steelers improve offensively. Yes, they have the highest paid defense, but even even when you talk about them having the highest paid defense, it's not still curtain. Like, you know what I mean? And it leaves the room for guys like Justin Field or somebody that could move the chains and just switch field position. So, like, that's why I think it's like a nasty game where, yeah, they might not give up a huge play, but as long as Justin Fields gets in a drive where he gets like a couple first downs. Remember, Steelers had all them games early in the season, and Mark was like, yep, we pulled out another one. Like, that's just like who they are. And I think the average Steelers fan is like, well, if we just had Aaron Rodgers stats from 2024, but Aaron Rodgers had Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. You don't have that. And to me, it's very different. And there's question marks on their offensive line as well. Like brand new, like I mean, what's the bloke at tackle?
Which one?
Not the one.
He nervous. He think about the one.
What's your tackle's name? The guy y'all just drafted 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's coming back from injury. Troy Fautanu.
No, what's the other guy? No, I like Fautanu.
Broderick Jones on left tackle.
Yeah, Broderick Jones.
He's like, moving from right to left.
Right. I just don't believe in that either. So like there's a lot of different things that I just have the components of. This is a messy game. Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? Like there's going to be some. I think he'll make smart decisions, but this is just how it is. Like at the beginning of the season, when you don't have a high octane offense, you're going to get yourself in some messy games.
All right, Mark, we have 3 predictions here, and they're all predicting a messy game. They're predicting a low-scoring game, a close game. We have 2 going with your Steelers. We got Zay playing the heel. He's going with the Jets. What are you going with, Mark? Are your Steelers getting it done in week 1 over the Jets?
I'm going with a bold prediction, man. I reckon the Steelers win 27-0. I know you guys are going to laugh at that, but I've been saying for weeks now. I don't think Justin Fields and his offense can score a point against our defense. Our defense got better on the secondary. It's always been great with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith on the outside. Our D-line's better. Yes, we have Derek Harmon. He's out, but Y.A. Black will fill that role there. But our secondary is going to lock down one of their receivers. I think Fields gets flushed and moved around the pocket and gets sacked. I don't think they move the ball as well as they can. Yes, it's going to be very tough to stop. I think Breece Hall run the rock, but I feel like the Steelers can go out there, score enough points, and 27-0, or at least keep them 2-0. I think it's going to be first time since 2011 the Steelers have kept this team a team 2-0. Now, Zay wants us to be the Browns so bad, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to lose against the Jets. The Jets should be a game that we walk into MetLife Stadium. They've already sold out 48% of Steeler tickets, Steeler fans, according to one of those websites out there. But they'll turn up. Steelers turn up. I think Rodgers comes out, and maybe it's a bit of a slow offense in the start. Chris Boswell kicks a few field goals. Yes, I will grant you, Zim, that the Steelers receiving, it's not that flashy. DK Metcalf is unbelievable. The guys behind that, Roman Wilson, need to step up. Calvin Austin, yet again, step up. I'll grant you that. However, they do have some really good tight ends, and Rodgers talked about getting Big Darnell Washington the ball in the red zone, and also Johnny Smith. Look out for him. He's an excellent player that's worked with Arthur Smith offense, and Frymouth too is a pretty good, not like Mark Andrews dropping these fucking lettuce everywhere. Frymouth can catch the ball. So I think this team can win this game. It just depends to me, it's the defense. If they highest paid and on paper to practice the perfect, if they don't do that, I'm going to be pretty pissed off because this defense is outstanding and they have to go in there and take care of business. That is Justin Fields' revenge game.
Zim said that this Steelers defense is not the steel curtain. Mark said not so fast, my friend. 27-0. Mark's got his Steelers in the Jets week 1. How about it? All right, let's talk about the 1 p.m. window. Let's talk about that Zay Zim battle. Let's talk about Browns versus Bengals week 1. We can't wait for it. And I know Zay and Zim really can't wait for it. Sam, I'm going to start with you. You kick things off here. Who wins this bitter grudge match within the AFC North?
I like the Browns defense. I really do. I like Denzel Ward. I know Zim even made mention about how he does have a bit of a battle with Jamar Chase. Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, all those guys, I like them too. Joe Burrow's really, really good at throwing the football. Even under duress like that. I think his time to throw is about 2.54 seconds. That's way shorter time than most defensive ends are able to get to the quarterback. So I'm going to give it to Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals get the job done here. I'm not sure if it's going to be a shootout either because of Trey Hendrickson. Again, it's all about that offensive line. Zay, you help me understand how that offensive line will play. If you keep Joe Flacco upright, could be a bit of an upset, maybe, perhaps. But if he gets sacked 1 or 2 times and he's under duress, I'm not trusting Joe Flacco at age 40 to get the job done. So give me the Bengals.
Bengals with the W in the battle of the Joes and the battle of the Zay Zim. But let's get Mark's thoughts first. Sam's got the Bengals winning this one. Mark, how about you? Bengals Browns 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Bit of a shocker here. I actually think the Browns can win. I think Joe Flacco.
My bad, Mark. My bad, man. Hey, my bad, cuz. Damn. didn't know you was doing that. My fault.
I said it last week. I think if Joe Flacco can keep the ball clean and no turnovers, and if they're playing at home, I don't think it's going to be as easy as a game for the Bengals. Of course, AFC North is very tough. Now, Joe Burrow and crew, they're going to go out there and sling it around for sure. But I think the defense will step up with Myles Garrett and Ward and those guys. And I think at home for the Browns, they'll all love Joe Flacco. If he plays well enough, one TD or a few yards and no turnovers, runs the rock well enough. Dead set. I think it could be an upset. So I'm going to go 23-19 Browns.
23-19. The Browns get the home W over Zim's Bengals. All right, Zim, talk to me. Week 1. Bengals are trying to put away that narrative that they can't win in the first 2 weeks, and they get their chance to overwrite that narrative against a bitter rival in Cleveland. Who's winning it, Bengals or Browns?
I like Bengals in this game, and I like them for a lot of reasons where I don't think people do. I think Shamar Stewart with Trey Hendrickson and company, Joseph Osai, Miles Murphy, all of these guys, Chris Jenkins, remember I told everybody that's watching this, full health for both teams for the most part, right? Bengals were not like that last year, and I just didn't come on the show and say that. Now I'm going to say no excuses on our end. Everybody's there. I got high hopes for the defense. Maybe when I say high hopes, I think there'll be a top 20 defense. But I think that if Joe Burrow puts points on the board, I think it puts the Browns in a situation that they don't want to get into. And as Joe Flacco throwing in the cover 2, Joe Flacco improvising, and the athletes that the Bengals have, you got to think. You could fall into the trap of saying the Bengals have a bad defense and you won't get an argument from it. But at the same time, there are athletes and first-round picks all over the place. Miles Murphy, first-round edge. Shamar Stewart, first round. Trey Hendrickson, one of the best edge rushers, if not the best pure pass rusher in all of football. If they get you in a position where you are down on the scoreboard, it's going to be a lot of players coming right at the quarterback, and if they're not mobile, I think that the defense in this game is going to make a statement. The defense, if you go back to the Bengals last year, in both of those Browns games, especially the first one, the Bengals offense was not good in that game. It was the defense that looked really good in that game. I'm going off of that. I really think that if it became a tight situation, I mean, come on, it's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yoshivas, and the one person that we haven't mentioned at all, I think Chase Brown. They've been talking about him all off season, going to have a bigger role in this offense. There is no waiting till week 5 to see is he starting or anything like that. I think he's at the point. Everybody uses fantasy football. He's probably about the 6th, 7th running back taken off the board, and it's for games like this. I think that they're going to feed him. If they run into a team that doesn't have a high octane offense, they're going to lean on a screen game. They're going to lean on short passes to him, and he is a terror out in the open field. I'm just letting you know, all season long, Chase Brown is one of the fastest running backs in all of football. And you're doing that coming out the backfield with teams that have to make sure that they know where Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Gesicki and Noah Fant, all of these weapons, they got to know where all those guys are at. It's very easy for Chase Brown to go and make his hay with that setup. I think the Bengals win this game handily, 27-10.
Handily, Zay. A 17-point margin of victory, says Zim, for his Bengals against your Browns. What say you, Zay? Browns-Bengals week 1. Let's hear it.
The biggest key for the Browns is they have to start fast. They're going to need to get a lead. This team is going to be most dangerous if they can put points out on the board first. Just thinking back to a couple, we can go back to the last home opener that we had against the Bengals. Myles Garrett wasn't doing between the legs crossovers down 14. He was doing that up. So if this team can find a way to start fast and put some points out on the board to allow Jim Schwartz to go ahead and dial up some nasty little rush schemes, it's going to put this defense in a really good position to control, or to at least not control, but to contain Joe Burrow, because that's going to be the biggest problem. And if you give Joe Burrow and these guys a lead, that's like Zim said, that's the one spot Browns fans don't want to be, especially with Kevin Stefanski's offense. Watching Kevin Stefanski try to come back down is not fun. I'd probably rather get a root canal that's infected. I'd rather have an infected root canal done in my mouth than watch that, because it's not pretty. opportunity. So as long as this offense can come out, have a rhythm, and not turn the ball over, I give ourselves a good chance. And, I said it a couple shows ago. I think this is one of those games where history is going to repeat itself. We finally have a quarterback that we're not just trying, like me personally, I'm not just trying to fluff up. I've witnessed Joe Flacco exceed in this offense. And with him having a full offseason, you can debate whether it's better weapons or not. I still think he has a lot of good weapons under his belt. I'm thinking this is going to be one of those shootout games, which kind of contradicts my whole defensive thought. But I think give me 30-23 Browns.
One way or another, I got a feeling Zim's going to be on time next week. Zay's got the W for his Browns. 30-23. Flacco's back. He's got him dropping 30 on the Bengals in week 1. Hold on. You guys hear that?
Oh,
view to it.
Football in Buffalo. The Bills, the Ravens, the matchup of the divisional round playoff game a season ago. Lamar versus Josh Allen. It does not get better than this. Massive AFC showdown. Mark, I'm going to start with you on this one. Who wins this epic battle between the reigning MVP and the reigning MVP?
With this game, whoever wins or loses won't affect too much, really. If they start 0-1, 1-0, they're still going to go to the playoffs, still going to have a chance to win the division. However, I'm going to choose the Bills to win 26-20 with a Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews special because Isaiah likely is out. He's out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is.
And he that guy, so he always carves us up. Likely against the Steelers, always carve us up. So I think he's a really good tight end. I think he's like one of their playmakers. So it's going to come down to Lamar Jackson going on the field, 20 yards out. John Harbaugh is going to do something really stupid, going to make some really crazy play, 4th down play or something like that. I don't know what's going to happen. And they're going to throw to Mark Andrews again, and he's going to drop his lollies. And they're going to lose 26-20.
So instead of Mark Andrews getting his revenge, you got him doing it again.
100%.
Wow. All right, Mark, that's some petty stuff, man. That's good work. That's good work. I underestimated you. That's good work. Mark's got the Bills winning it on Sunday Night Football. Zim, how about you? You made some great points earlier about what the Bills are kind of walking into with this one, and it does feel like, if we're talking about narratives, the Ravens have the edge there. But what's your prediction? What's the final score in Buffalo?
Man, I need the Bills to win this, but I just can't see it. Like, I do talk a little bit of trash on this show. I just think that they're walking to that bad spot. I just cannot see those corners for the Bills tackling any of those guys in open space. Like, I don't know if it's going to be Dane Jackson or Tre'Davious White or something. Like, that's not the formula. That is not the formula to do it. If they can get Lamar flushed out the pocket and like funnel him to spots, maybe. I think that this is a 10-point victory by the Ravens. And it maybe could be worse. Ravens probably do a mistake or something on their own, like kind of like they did in the playoffs, couple turnovers or something like that. I think it could be worse, but I'm going to go 27-17. Bills get a late, touchdown or something to make it look prettier, kind of like how it went last year. Yeah. Bills are a good team, Z-Bot. I don't want you to take this as though I'm saying that you guys suck or something. It's just not a good matchup for them, right?
So we got Zim.
Don't worry about Sam. I got you, Sam.
You're taking the Ravens pretty comfortably here. Bills averaged nearly 31 points a game last season. To go in and score 17 would be a real tough start. I think Mark put it, great where, both of these teams could lose and it shouldn't derail the season, but that would be a rough start. Low scoring like that, kind of losing in a fashion in which the Bills lost last year. But hey, we saw that on full display in Baltimore. The Bills got ran out of the building. Could it happen again? Zim thinks it could. Zay, how about you? What happens in Buffalo on Sunday night?
I got one or two ways that I can go with this, and I think I'm going to continue to be petty. I do, however, Z, I think this is playing into my petty theory, all right? I mean, this is I think this is going to be one of those looking at the tablet, Michael Jordan, and I took it personal. The Ravens are going to have that aura, energy that Zim likes so much just to let Lamar go crazy and just outperform Josh Allen in this week 1 matchup. I just think that it's a little sour taste in his mouth. And if anybody likes to go ahead and remember stuff, we've seen it. Lamar keeps tabs on stuff like that. So I think there'll be a little bit of extra motivation to come out and stick it to the guy where statistically, I don't know how never mind. I'm not going down that Ramsey or Zim. My bad. I ain't doing it. But I think the Ravens are going to pull out week 1 only so they can lose to the Browns next week because they're going to spoil your last. They're going to spoil your last thing. And then we're going to make up for it. And we're going to spoil their little celebration the week after. So they'll get a taste of their own medicine as they spoil one just to get theirs spoiled.
I was waiting for the petty, and there it was. It was buried in there. At some point, we were going to get there, and we got there. Zay's got the Ravens winning week 1, but we already know what he's got for week 2. You might as well. I mean, next week's predictions, we already locked those in, at least for Zay. We know what he thinks for week 2, but we got to talk about week 1 first. Sam, I'm nervous. I know you're nervous. We talked about it, but one of us has to walk out of that building with a smile on our face. Who's it going to be? Bills, Ravens, Sunday night. Who takes it?
Sorry, Z. It's not looking good for your Bills. Now, I will say there are 5 quarterbacks in the league where it doesn't matter who's on the other side. You know, you're going to get the best effort and it could just change the game. And Josh Allen's one of those 5 guys. I just don't see it happening. Zay Flowers is playing in this game. He didn't play in the divisional round in the playoffs. That was a huge, huge loss for the Ravens in that regard. The Ravens outgained the Bills in every metric as well in that divisional round. Just the 3 turnovers. I mean, they had more passing yards, more rushing yards, you know, just the 3 turnovers that cost them. So I expect the Ravens to win this football game. I will say that the X factor are both Josh Allen and Cook. If the Ravens are unable to contain those guys, I mean, I look back at the wild card game against the Broncos, the Bills, 131-7, and the Broncos defense was pretty much on par with what the Ravens have. I think the Ravens have a better rush defense, but that secondary for the Broncos is enough where you can still see Josh Allen putting up points, you know? So it's going to be up to the Ravens to slow down Cook and Josh Allen, make sure that they are one-dimensional like they did in that week 4 matchup, and the Ravens will find a way to get some running going without Pat Ricard because I don't expect him to play. But give me the Ravens to win this game. I'll be nice and say 28-20.
Wow, you're doing you a solid, huh?
Yeah,
I appreciate it. It was better than what Zim did. I appreciate it, Sam. Keeping it within 1 score. I like it. Oh, hey, there you have it. Week 1 predictions locked in, previews locked in. Now all that's left is to sit back and see what goes down.